My name is Daniel, and I never thought I would be telling this story. Families are supposed to be about love, fairness, and unity. But sometimes, the very people you trust the most can leave scars deeper than strangers ever could. This is the story of how my parents' final decision shattered everything I believed in. When my parents passed away, I thought grief would be the most challenging part. I imagined sorting through memories, not betrayal. But during the reading of their will, I discovered the unimaginable. Everything, our house, savings, even family heirlooms, had been left to my brother. I was left with nothing, not even an explanation. Shock turned to heartbreak, heartbreak to rage. But life has a strange way of rewriting injustice. What happened next would change everything, not just for me, but for the family that thought I didn't matter. Watch until the end. Growing up, I was always the quiet one in the family. My brother, Mark, was the golden child, the star athlete, the one my parents bragged about to neighbors, the one who could do no wrong. I was different, hardworking, independent, but often overlooked. I studied late into the night, paid my way, through college, and built a modest career without asking for help. While my brothers stayed close, basking in their praise, I lived a quieter life, a few towns away. Still, I never felt unloved, at least not until that day. When both of my parents passed suddenly within the same year, I came home for the funeral, carrying grief and memories. I believed we would share everything equally. Because isn't that what family is about? But as the lawyer opened the will, reality struck like a cold blade. The lawyer's voice was calm, detached, but every word cut deeper than the last. All assets, property, and inheritance are to be given to Mark. My name wasn't even mentioned. My heart raced, not just with anger, but confusion. Why? What had I done wrong? Memories of sacrifices flooded my mind. The nights I stayed behind to care for Mom when Mark was busy. The times I sent money quietly to help with bills. The holidays I missed because of work, but always made sure they had gifts. As everyone's eyes turned toward me, the silence was deafening. Mark sat smug, almost expectant, as though he knew this outcome all along. My relatives whispered in shock, but no one spoke for me. I walked out, numb, my entire identity as a son erased in a single moment. Days turned into weeks, and pain twisted into determination. I began digging, looking for answers. That's when I stumbled across a folder hidden in some of my father's old files. Inside were bank statements, unpaid debts, and letters that painted a different picture. My parents hadn't left me out of love. They had left me out of fear. They believed I didn't need them. They assumed I was strong enough, successful enough to survive on my own. But was that truly love? Or was it the most profound betrayal of all? The breaking point came at a family gathering weeks later. Mark stood proudly, boasting about the inheritance, already talking about selling the family home for profit. Rage boiled inside me. But then I remembered the folder, the evidence that revealed the truth. With trembling hands, I laid the documents on the table. The room fell silent as I explained what I had found. Debts my parents hid, their misguided belief that giving everything to Mark would somehow protect me. Instead, it destroyed me. For the first time, Mark's grin faded. The weight of the room shifted, judgment no longer on me, but on him. In that moment, I realized something powerful. Sometimes, what you inherit isn't wealth. It's the truth. Didn't fight for the money. Instead, I walked away. carrying the truth as my only inheritance. It wasn't easy. Anger still burned, and the wound of betrayal remained. But with time, I built my legacy, one that wasn't defined by what was left to me, but by what I created. Mark eventually squandered much of what he received, chasing quick gains, while I built quietly, steadily, on my terms. This story isn't just about wills or money. It's about the painful realization that love isn't always measured in fairness, and that sometimes being overlooked forces you to rise higher. What would you do if your parents left you nothing? Would you fight, or would you walk away? Tell me in the comments below which country and city you're watching from. Take care.